We have some great donation news, right?
Yes!
Yeah, that was an insane period.
I can't even, I'm speechless. Honestly, this is, I have a thing to read, so I'm not speechless, but here we go. So, White Striped Scarf donated, says, thank you, Scarf Squad, Seal Squad, Crab Squad, and all the other joyful moments you've facilitated. So thank you to those 3 squads. And thank you very much to White Striped Scarf. Really appreciate the donation. Thassel donated again. Says Roomba YCH win. And I feel like that's the next designer species. Like, goodbye Cirgles, goodbye, what are those robot things that are popular now? Protogens, yeah. No more Protogens, Roombas. Roombasonas.
Roombas, which are basically Skynet.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, they're, yeah.
I mean, they mess up my headphones every time, so.
We also got a donation from Jeffrey Giraffe again, which put him just above Thassel. He playing the Price is Right game again, keeping up. So thank you very much for that. And then the big one, holy crap, Jackal donated $1,000 and had a very great message to share with everyone too. Yes.
Thank you.
He says, we all live on this planet. We all live together on this planet. Let's remember that. Shout out to Sage and the rest of the band. So yes, thank you very much, Jackal. Great shout out to Sage and the rest of that amazing band. And
yeah, Sage, Allie, Fallboard, Fiddleback.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for such a great set.
And Jackal, thank you so much.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess the next thing to talk about is a call to arms, I guess is the best way to call it. I need your voices. We need your voices. There are a bunch of people who are left unheard, and we want to hear from you. We're talking about the BIPOC community of not just our generation, but just of the furry community in our world right now. I want to hear what you have to say of like how the furry community has helped you out, how you feel at home, what has specifically the furry community done for you as a BIPOC person. And I believe that that's one of the things we actually haven't like truly talked about in this community is like what have the furry community done to actually help you as a person out feel more welcome and at home and at place in this world, right? Like that would be great to just kind of hear. So if you have some info or information that you would like to actually share with us, please use the email on the screen, comment at furvana.org. Tell us if you're interested. We will gladly love your help to try and make this happen. And you'll make an appearance hopefully on there, and we appreciate it, right?
It's super important to us that everyone feels welcome, not just at our convention, but in this community as a whole. It's working together is really what makes our community so strong, and that includes everybody. So please, we'd love to hear your voices.
So
send us text, videos, whatever you would like to.
Yeah, and again, that's comments at Furvana.org, or you can just reach out to any of our public channels. We'll get a hold of you there, and we'll have that up in a tweet later too, so you can see it.
All right.
Yep.
And then so we're going off to.
Now we got more stuff.
Let's see how people are watching us.
Yeah.
And we are going to start with our IT extraordinaire, Blue Husky, and this is the room. This is actually the first time I've seen it at his new house too. It's yet again a very impressive setup. Blue Husky is managing and juggling all of these streams for us.
You get to see behind the curtain.
Yeah, this is control room. Right
we're
here.
Behind the curtain. This is behind the curtain. Right
double
now.
Behind the curtain.
And
true wizard.
Yeah, and this is the setup that is making everything go. All of these different streamers who are maintaining social distance policies, hi Kat, are going to his house, and he is sending it out to all of you to enjoy tonight. That is an incredibly impressive setup. Next on the list is Frost's setup. Nice 3-monitor setup. I do like stuff that comes in threes.
Yeah, typical for a tri-dog figures.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense, yeah. Right.
Where's the snake gonna sit, though?
Oh, she's probably got a laptop.
Fair enough.
But yes, very good setup. Great way to watch us. Next is Gernon, actually.
Yeah.
He's down in his living room. As you can see on the left is just a fraction of his Laserdisc collection.
Yeah.
Laserdisc?
Laserdisc collection.
That wasn't vinyl. That's Laserdisc.
Those are Laserdiscs.
I think he has like one of, if not the largest Laserdisc collections in like the entire state.
It's the biggest I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely the biggest I've ever seen. And he is watching us right next to his Laserdisc collection.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you,
We're
Garnon.
that important.
Yeah.
That we could just do.
The next one is Zoltania watching us through a cat.
Yeah.
Yep. One of our donators.
I can appreciate that.
Yep.
Great.
It's a good view. It's a good view.
It's a good view of catgut.
Yeah, I can vouch for this one. I've seen this set up in person because obviously it's right next to me. And usually movies are playing on the right, and it is fun to play games on the left, movies on the right. So
Man, I don't know how people do that. I can't split my focus that way. I'm watching a movie.
It's
or
just
I'm playing a
background
video
noise.
game.
So behind the scenes here, that Zoltania actually studied up in mass communications. So you know those scenes where journalists have all of those multi-screens happening around the world? That's her.
Like
I
blue
would-
setup. Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
die.
like blue setup. Yeah.
I would die. And next on the list is Zanru watching us.
Oh yeah, hi Jan. Those are my roommates. Hi, Jan.
Yeah, that is your roommates.
Oh, what are they sipping
that's your
on?
living
Can I
room.
have
Yeah.
some? It looks like
Yeah, there's a giant bean
Mana
bag.
potion.
We have
Oh,
a
the blue,
gigantic.
the
Blue
blues.
stuff.
Oh, the
Mana
blue
potion.
stuff?
blue
Oh,
stuff.
that's,
Yeah, that looks like a cosmetology.
That's what they're drinking. I don't know.
I want it.
I have some good mixologists at my house, so I'm not
Okay.
sure what they can
Yeah.
do with there.
You
Well,
might see
yeah.
me soon then.
Very good. You're welcome.
That will be leading into another Twitter poll, but we're not doing that yet.
Yeah, soon. Get there.
And finally, here is us in the other room
Yep.
watching What Strange Beasts on our TV. This is obviously not the beach, but don't worry, the beach is next door.
Yeah, very neat.
Authentic beach, real beach.
We drove all the way home and then came back to the beach.
The Flash took us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
helped a lot. Oh
Or
And-
Yo-Yo if you're a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan.
yeah,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yo-Yo helps. She
Yeah.
always helps a lot. And thank you. And we're doing this for one more round, right?
Yeah, we got one more round of this, so keep sending us pictures of how you're watching, and we'll feature you up here on stream.
Yeah, and because we've got a little bit of a spoiler for that, I think we can start doing it now. If you also want to start sending us pictures of your drinks,
Yeah.
Yep.
What
feel
are you drinking?
free.
It's after 8 p.m. You got nothing to do tomorrow. It's a Sunday. Come on.
I mean, technically, it's almost a new day over on the East Coast. So if you're
There you go.
watching from over there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, our friends watching from the Midwest right now. It's what, 2 is that 3 hours? I don't know what time works.
Midwest is 2 hours.
2 hours.
2
So
Okay,
it's
there
10
we go.
o'clock over there.
10:30, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
And that
Drink on.
is it for Twitter. So yeah, show us more of how you're watching us and show us what you're drinking.
Yeah. So what have we got next, Metal?
All right. So up next
6
is
minutes
our
of stuff.
friends over at Merch Minion. So I'm happy to announce and introduce Merch Minion. They're coming up as our next panel. So if you were attending Meep's panel, there was a mention there about, boy, I've been thinking of starting my own online store. Maybe I should do merchandise. I could safely say here that Merch Minion, who is also helping us with this performance here, was screaming, "Oh my God, have you heard of Merch Minion? I'm right here!" So
It's what they do. Yeah.
It's what they do. They've been helping immensely for us over at Furvana. The shirts that we wear and sell at convention, they were made by them. I could try. Can you reach over to the? Oh, you have one ready to go.
I'm ready.
Yeah, so you're ready with this. So soft.
Yeah.
So fluffy. I love it.
It's so fluffy.
It's so fluffy. So anyway, so the unique thing about their shirts is they can work in helping you create an online store. And not only can they help with creating an online store, but they can do what's called on-demand printing. So you're going to get coming up here in the next segment is kind of a walkthrough of their setup. And they're going to introduce several of the things of how they do their production. So they're going to talk about t-shirts, posters, all of the other stuff that they work up for marketing and printing.
You'll literally get to see how this is made.
Yes.
So.
And if you were at Furvana last year, they were there
Oh, that
on
was
site,
Yeah.
Yes.
out in front of ops,
Yep.
doing shirt printings for everyone to watch.
It was fun watching them at the at our convention last year, and I was showing off the printer, and then there's a whole bunch of convention chairs from other conventions just came by and just watched the printer,
Yeah.
and just to see how that was done.
If you're like a print nerd like I am, it is the coolest thing to watch. It's like,
So they'll come up with something called on-demand printing. You'll hear more about that in the panel. But basically, you don't have to have a humongous inventory, and I hope they mention that in the segment that they do. And in going over that, you don't have to do the thing like we chairs had to do back in the day, which is order an inventory of 200 shirts.
Yeah, or 2,000, or yeah.
And then all the different sizes.
And then you only sell half of them, and now you have 1,000 shirts left over.
And then you have to discount them the next year, and then discount them again the next year, and then discount them again the next year, and eventually give them to Goodwill.
So if there's any con staff watching, you know the pain.
You know the pain.
Yeah.
So they made one of your favorite shirts, right?
I know, because for me, Metal Fox, I was just so excited when they helped make a shirt just specifically for me.
Would you like to
with
hold
my
it?
branding? Oh,
Yeah.
I'd love to hold this. I'd like to wear this right now. But right now I have to wear my Furvana shirt, but they're both equally comfortable.
They're both
Well, you can wear that
as
one like
important.
pants.
Yeah, exactly. But it shows that in the printing process, it used to be with shirts, it's like, oh, you have to worry about one color or 4 colors or something like that.
Yeah.
But they could do all sorts of colors, and the gradients and the quality that just comes through. And this is after several washings, and it has been amazing. So just wanted to big shout out thanks for making some awesome shirts. They know the right fabric to work with. That's got to be one of the biggest things for me.
Yep.
Because I've worked and staffed for other conventions wearing the heavy
Gildan?
material.
Gildan?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's a swear word. We don't use Gildan.
They're
Yeah.
they're itchy.
I know, it's like ow, right on the chest.
Yep.
So so if you're volunteering and you get one of our staff shirts, you are going to be comfortably dressed during the whole convention. And with the other merchandise that they do, with the bag stuffing and everything, that was such a great painless process. And they help out other furry conventions as well, I believe.
Oh yeah, tons. Not just furry conventions. They help out tons of other conventions. I can't even name them all. I honestly don't even know. But yeah, they do a ton of work like that. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Awesome. And they also help the individual, so you don't have to be a large organization or established. They can help you with your startup. So if you're reaching out to the market for the first time, whether it's furry or business oriented,
Like a band trying to make merch.
oh,
There you go.
we're gonna have a couple of panels and segments that could reach out. That would be great for them. So anyway, so we hope you're going to enjoy this next segment. We know we have for both as a convention and as the furry community helping out for being able to create that online store. And we definitely appreciate their efforts as a team for helping the furry community as a whole. So big shout out to their involvements on a lot of the nonprofit and charity work that we've done. That was awesome.
So what are some of your favorite pieces of con swag? Jubei, how about what do you like at the
I
con
love
store?
pins.
Pins?
Pins are my
Pins.
favorite.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pint glasses.
Pint glass. Those are my favorite too.
My
Pint
sister
glasses.
collects those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice. Mine are the posters to try to get everybody on them. So
Yeah.
if you guys want to see how it's made, it's coming up to you in about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of this.
Hello everyone, my name is Kat and I'm one of the founders of Minion. I understand that the idea of merchandise can seem really daunting and downright complicated. Today I'd like to show you just how easy creating your own branded merchandise can be. What better way to do that than show you just how we went about making the fun Furvana swag you've seen tonight. Before we get started printing the Furvana t-shirt, let's discuss some of your options when it comes to merch and how best to design for them. When you think of merch, you often think of shirts or swag bags. But did you know that merch can include things such as hats, hoodies, leggings, buttons, enamel pins, blankets, and even posters? When it comes to decorating apparel, there are many production methods to choose from, and your end design helps dictate which option is right for your project. Direct-to-garment printing, also known as DTG, is one of the newest forms of apparel decoration. But in the roughly 10 years it's been around, it's really changed the industry. DTG works very similar to the desktop inkjet printers we've all seen, but instead of printing on paper, it prints fine detail and full-color designs directly on the clothing itself. Because DTG doesn't require any screens or complex setups, it's great for one-offs, small runs, or when you're using an on-demand printing method. We will discuss on-demand printing in a bit more detail later, but we've used DTG for the Furvana Takes the Internet shirts. Screen printing is the most well-known print method and is easily recognizable by its heavy hand, the way the ink feels in your fingers. Plastisol-based inks are pushed through a fine mesh screen with a UV reactive emulsion template. Each screen can only be a single color, so designs are limited in how many colors they can have. Dye sublimation and heat transfer printing both use inks printed on a transfer paper and then applied to the garment or substrate. We have always felt that empowering creators with knowledge is important, so it's really frustrating when we find industry leaders spreading misinformation for the sake of keeping things simple for marketing purposes. So I want to briefly touch on the difference between dye sublimation and heat transfer printing, even though we haven't used them tonight. While the physical steps of heat transfer printing and dye sublimation are nearly identical, the chemical processes and material requirements involved are significantly different. Dye sublimation uses specially formulated inks that, when applied to synthetic materials, primarily polyester, and heated, transitions from solid to a gas, skipping the liquid state. This process is known as sublimation. The print industry tends to be a little bit obvious in its naming conventions. The ink, now in its gas form, chemically bonds with the synthetic material, permanently coloring it. Key limitations of dye sublimation: you cannot sublimate organic fibers such as cotton or hemp, and you cannot sublimate white ink. It literally disappears. On the other hand, heat transfer printing, also referred to as screen print transfers, uses ink similar to those used in DTG and screen printing that is printed onto a transfer paper and then applied to the substrate using heat. When heated, the ink becomes semi-fluid and physically bonds to the substrate. The ink never gets hot enough to turn into a gas. Heat transfers, like screen print, are not permanent and can and will fade, crack, or peel as they age. Now that we've got some of the technicalities out of the way, let's focus on the good stuff. The best way to get started with merchandising is focusing on the artwork itself. When designing your art, it's important to keep the end products and how they are made in mind. While each production method and its products has its own parameters, there are a few things you can do to ensure your artwork looks great on anything you choose to put it on. Let's dive into Photoshop and I'll show you how it's done. It doesn't really matter what software you use to create your art, as long as you can control the types of files you can output. For example, if you're using a tablet to draw, you may be using Procreate, Adobe Sketch, or Illustrator. On a computer, you might be using GIMP, Canva, Corel, or one of the many Adobe drawing programs, including Illustrator or Photoshop. These are all perfectly good options. One of the nice things about all of these programs is that they support designing in layers. Layers lets you create your design in pieces that you can turn on and off as needed, as well as editing one layer without affecting the ones beneath it. As you can see, when Meep created this design, each of the main elements is on their own layer. This lets us make adjustments to layers without affecting the other items around them when we're tweaking this design for the different types of products it's going to go on. When designing for apparel, one of the things to pay attention to is gradients. Embroidery doesn't really support gradients unless you're using a variegated thread, but then your color is dependent on the thread itself, not your design. Screen printing can mimic gradients with half-tone dots. DTG can handle gradients as long as they're on the inside of the artwork, but not pointing out from the artwork's edge to the shirt, like in the case of a drop shadow. The exception to this rule is when you're printing on only white garments. The reason for this is in order for colors to be bright on colored or dark shirts, we lay down a layer of white ink under the design. Now that our art is all ready for print, let's head down to the shop and we'll look at how the Furvana Takes the Internet shirt is being printed using DTG. The first step to DTG printing is to prepare the shirt. If you're printing on a white shirt, there's very little prep work needed. Make sure the shirt is clear of any dirt or marks, and remove any wrinkles. If you're printing on a dark, brightly colored, or shirt with a texture, such as the heather gray we're using for the Furvana Takes the Internet shirts, we'll need to pre-treat the shirt first. The pre-treatment solution is a biodegradable, starchy solution that bonds with the white ink to help create a nice, even underlayer. This ensures that the colors are bright once printed. Once pre-treated, we place the shirt on the heat press for 30 to 40 seconds to dry the shirt and compress all the fibers into a nice, smooth layer. You can't have any wrinkles, creases, or folds because they will ruin your design. Once dry and cooled slightly, we can thread the shirt onto the machine, making sure to line up the collar and sleeves so that the design ends up centered on the shirt properly. One cool advantage of DTG over the other decoration methods is that you can scale your design based on shirt size. This lets you put your design on both a kid's small and adult 5X or 6X while keeping the design proportionate all the way across the board. Because Furvana has so many light colors in their fur, we have opted to do a double pass of white. This will make sure the fur stays light and the bold colors in the background will really pop. After the 2 passes of white, the printer will run all of the colors at once. In my opinion, this part's magic. As you can see, DTG makes decorating apparel easy. We can make one shirt or hoodie just as easily as we can make 1,000. Dye sublimation has the same flexibility when it comes to mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and more. These types of technologies make print-on-demand fulfillment possible. Print-on-demand means that no items are produced or paid for until an item sells. This means you can offer all sorts of merchandise without having to pre-order inventory. Print-on-demand makes it easy for artists or small brands to offer merchandise or try out new designs without large upfront costs, guessing games on what inventory to carry, or being stuck with inventory that doesn't sell. Batch printing is the type of fulfillment most people are used to. You submit an order for a certain number of items and then resell them yourself. If you're running an event, need a large number of items for a giveaway, or are putting your merch in a retail location, batch printing fulfillment is what you need. For batch printing, we can ship the items to you or your end destination, such as a store or warehouse. We can even split a batch print into smaller orders and ship to multiple locations. This is a great option if you are housing your items at warehouses around the world to offer faster shipping speeds worldwide. Now that you have the creation of your merch solved, what's the best way to go about selling it? The fastest and easiest way to get your merch out there is to sell online. Merch Minion has developed an online platform that makes it simple to design and build your own web store with our drag and drop editor. You can then use our design lab to fill it with products. We offer integrations with some of the largest online marketplaces, including Etsy, Amazon, and Facebook. If you need a helping hand with any part of the process, our team of minions is dedicated to helping you get up and running. We also offer full-service design solutions where we can build and launch a custom-built web store for you. We also offer multiple ways to reinforce your brand through your merchandise. We can do custom printed tags inside t-shirts and hoodies, put hang tags on sleeves, or individually bag and tag shirts. We can even include additional items such as business cards, care instructions, or stickers in the bags. The sky's the limit. Our online solutions are not just for artists or brands wanting to launch a permanent online store. We also offer fundraising campaigns as well as a temporary web store option for sports teams or groups wanting to offer online sales to support an event. Merch Minion has always offered on-site services for events that include setup and teardown of the con store, as well as supporting the staff during the event. We can support guests of honor or make sure staff takes a break to eat. No passing out allowed. Due to COVID-19 moving lots of events online, we have expanded our drop shipping services even further to allow conventions and events to batch order products and provide a list of names and addresses for attendees. We will then individually pack and ship orders or gift packs to the attendees on behalf of the event. This enables the event staff to focus on navigating this new digital event space. Merch Minion offers a wide range of services beyond just merchandise. We can print everyday business items such as business cards and letterhead and signage, and everything in between. We also offer a wide range of digital services including web design, SEO optimization, and social media planning. Merch Minion would love to help you with your merchandise, digital, or printing needs. We're happy to answer any questions you may have or start a conversation about your goals and how to get you there. To learn more about all Merch Minion has to offer, please visit www.merchminion.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening at Furvana Takes the Internet.
Someone's calling you, Fritz.
Gonna be any minute now.
On your computer.
Alright, thank you for watching. 3, 2.
And welcome back, guys. Thank you, Merch Minion, for that wonderfully immersive and informative video. You know, me and my fiance actually have like some of their product for our own company, you know, as well. So it's very soft, and we have it in different colors. You know, one gray, one white. You know.
What
really
does she do?
She's a fursuit maker.
Oh, right.
Actually, she's a fursuit maker. So, you know, she makes beyond just fursuits and stuff like that. I mean, her range of like talents is great. I mean, she even makes masks right now, obviously very much needed in this time and such, right?